Republic take on Team Japan. Both these teams coming off losses in their first game this morning, so they are eager to get into a better position for rankings.
Right, one of these teams is going to win and one team is going to lose.
That's the way Derby goes. For Team Czech Republic, we've got number 121, Princess Chaos, 13, Krenkova, 1911, Piskova, 1982, Olmrova, 22, Tricky Nikki, 318, Doris the Explorer, 40, Czech, 515, Little Mehmed, number 52, Staniskova, number 59, Psycho Killer, 666, Vile Shadow, 68, Ghetto Kid, 69, Dolezhlova, 800, Lattice Masterpiece, and number 99, Smaikalova.
Excellent. And playing for Team Japan, we have number 0, Dedamame, number 12, Tuxedo Slam, 127, Nikki Cash, 140, Shake and Bake, 18, Bandit Angel, 1800, Tokyo Takeout, 1998, Haleharu, 20, Kraken, 241, Shisa Beast, 300, Chris Rago, 7, Slamurai, 701, Vajikel Jackson, 75, Where's the Fire, 77, Sprocket Tuya, and 950, Thunderbell. My name is Amy Jo Moore, and who you heard bring us in was Sonia Blade. And we have Pants here as our producer at the broadcast table on the roll line track here at Roller Derby World Cup 2018. Team Japan is wearing the red uniforms. Team Czech is wearing white.
And these are half-hour games with no timeouts. You can have official review, but the time doesn't stop. So strictly half-hour game.
I did actually see the time stop today at a game when the computer stopped communicating with the scoreboards. So the referees actually decided that the clock would stop at 2:44, and we came back in. But that was a rare event. Otherwise, I think things have been going pretty well here, don't you think, Sonia?
It's been a pretty smooth day so far. A couple hiccups at the first games, but I think we've sorted everything out, and we're ready to go for the rest of the weekend.
So in those earlier games, the Czech played Philippines. They lost 43 points to the Philippines, 108. Japan fell to Poland, 53 to 102. So one of these teams is going to come away with a win and a loss. The other two losses, and they'll be deciding after the games today what the schedule is for tomorrow based on these games.
I saw a bit of Japan's first game. They were really close at the start, really neck and neck, and then Poland just pulled right away. And
Japan had a lot of problems with the jammer penalties. In fact, they had a jammer foul out in the last jam, so that 30-second penalty became basically a minute-and-a-half penalty. She got that fourth penalty, so we are playing only 30-minute games. The skaters only get 4 penalties before they foul out, unlike a typical game 7. And yeah, that's pretty dangerous to put a jammer out like that.
Well, and the tough thing about these 30-minute games is usually you get a halftime to regroup or a timeout to regroup. You don't really get that, so it's do or die in 30 minutes. Tomorrow we will have full 1-hour games with halftimes, so Derby as usual.
Yeah, we're going to be getting back to that. So we're so happy you are tuned into Derby Ducks broadcast here and listening. We have a minute 10 till we get going here on the roll line track. Maybe we can tell you a little bit about these teams' coaches as well. For Japan, it's Coach Yuma-san, Coach Bob, and manager Secret Asian Slam. On the Czech side, we have Dr. Derby, Tractor Zethor, Dread Vader, and then we also have listed here helping them out Harley Quinn and Emancipated. These teams come from all over these countries. Of course, Prague is well represented with Czech roller derby, but a couple other skate teams represented: Hard-Breaking Dolls, Vienna, Big Bucks. That's pretty much it. Team Japan has them all over the world pretty much. I might have a moment to squeeze this in here. So Sierra Regional, Tokyo, Philly, Windy City, Echo City, San Fernando, Angel City, Okinawa, and San Diego, and Green Mountain.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Up first on the jam line, Czech Republic sending out number 13, Krenkova, up against number 140.
Shake and bake.
He's looking at the wrong color.
In the red now, yeah, because they all switched colors in between their last game. So Japan takes the lead here quite early with already on a power jam as Krakenova goes to the penalty box.
Bit of a slow pack as they come across that straightaway. Shake and bake makes it through for 5 points for Team Japan. Team Japan setting up to provide some offense if needed.
Pack stop and backside straightaway, and they start to move just a little bit up into corner 3 as the jammer approaches. One last to go. Psycho Killer only holds Shake and Bake up a moment.
And off like a shot, Krenkova back on the track to engage those Japan blockers. Shake and Bake taking that outside line. She's got 2 blockers left to beat at the front, gets knocked to the inside. Takes a safe route to bridge herself back, but Krenkova sneaks through that inside line. She gets through for her initial pass.
Nice little apex jump coming out of corner 4 for her. And but not without Team Japan making 3 scoring passes. That's going to be 14-0. Team Japan gets first blood.
We'd like to thank some of our sponsors like Roller Derby Elite. Make your mom proud. We're Roller Derby Elite. Roller Derby Elite has some of the best sponsor reads here. Like, I could just read them all and make you laugh, but I'm going to save some for later.
Nikki Cash jamming for Team Japan. Lattice masterpiece for the Czechs. The Czechs holding a back wall there for a moment, and again it is Team Japan's Nikki Cash picking up lead. That was a long slide on her knee, and as Lady Lattice Masterpiece has got out of the pack half a lap behind Nikki Cash.
Lattice Masterpiece getting into the pack, but not before Nikki Cash gets knocked to the inside, calls it off, picking up 2 more points for Team Japan, holding Team Czech scoreless.
Japan is really quick out there, getting their points, calling it off.
They didn't quit it. Sometimes that's the best strategy. It's worked time and time again.
It
is. We've seen several games.
They have to save a little bit for the rest of the weekend too. Like, we don't see a lot of long jams here in these early games.
Oh, exactly. And it's a 4-day weekend, so that's a lot of games for all of these teams.
Dedamame jamming for Japan against Doris the Explorer for the Czechs. 1 left to go there. That's number 58.
Dedamame with a no pass, no penalty. She will not be awarded lead jammer. That will go to Doris the Explorer, the first lead jam for Team Czech in this game.
It was actually 59 Psycho Killer that was holding her up. Now in the penalty box.
Doris the Explorer coming around the track, hoping to put some points on the board for Team Czech. Pushing her blockers, using her to offense. And she puts up 5 points for Team Czech.
We only saw 4 go on the board, but they're going to fix that. And another 2 for Team Japan. A 6-5 jam. The score is 55-22, 26-11 on the clock.
Don't forget, if you're watching at home, to use our social media plugs for Twitter at Roller Derby World Cup and at Rainy City Roller Derby. Instagram having those same media plugs. And hashtag RDWC2018.
Dolejalova on the jam line against Shake and Bake, back to the jam line for Team Japan.
Shake and Bake with a little tricky move there, getting Dolejalova outside, but only bridges her back to turn number 4.
The pack has some speed. We've already done a whole lap here. We finally get a lead jammer almost into corner 3 for the second time.
That lead jam will go to Team Japan. Dolejalova taking a tough hit to that outside.
Christopher Ago is going to go to the penalty box for that big hit too.
Pack slowing down as they approach the pivot line, awaiting their jammers to re-engage. They
both really hit the pack at the same time. Shake and Bake deciding to let the jam continue to go. Delays the lever knocked to the inside and drawn back by Slamurai.
Shake and Bake getting knocked to that inside and bridging herself back to almost the same spot. But she finds room on that inside line. She picks up 4 more points for Japan.
I was a little confused about why we were running long. Maybe just emptying that penalty box.
Makes sense. With these 30-minute games, you need all your players on the track.
Sure do. Nikki Cash back to the jam line for Team Japan. Krakanova back to the jam line for Team Czech.
Team Japan with a slight pack disadvantage as their pivot awaits the remaining seconds of her penalty in the box.
Team Czech had the back line at the jam line, and at the front they were not able to hold. Krakanova, lead goes to Czech.
It almost looked like Nikki Cash got through, but somebody was there to meet her at the very front, giving Krankova just enough time to pick up that lead status, but she's going to call it off.
Nothing jam. Score stays at 8-31, 23-30 on the game clock. Yeah, it's interesting that Japan, even in their last game, they ran a short roster, 2-3 jammers for a really long time, and it hurt them with the jammer penalties then, but see how it goes this time. Team Czech at the moment, 4 jammer rotation.
I'm sure they took that back to the locker room, regrouped, and said, hey, let's try something different for this game.
It's Dedamame jamming against Lattice Masterpiece. Dedamame right up the inside line, picks up lead just after the whistle blows. Oh, I'm sorry, Lattice Masterpiece. I got this wrong. Lattice Masterpiece. You're welcome to correct me right on the microphone, Sonia.
I am Canadian after all. We're known for our politeness.
Yes, you are. Looks like Vajikel Jackson's looking for some parts or something on the floor. She's dealing with her skate there at the end of the jam. 4 points to Team Czech, nothing for Team Japan in the last jam, 12-31.
Team Czech sending out Doris the Explorer with the star. She will be facing off against number 140, Shake and Bake, who's had a lot of success in this game. Shake and Bake opting to be a 5th blocker as her other blocker came out of the penalty box.
Yeah, Shake and Bake got pushed out of bounds, but came smartly back in. Lead goes to Doris the Explorer, and she's going to call it off for a nothing jam. I guess Team Czech is just waiting for just the right time to put points on the board.
You need just the right situation to score sometimes.
Sometimes if you're not feeling it, you just shouldn't do it.
If you know you can't get through and get those points, you might as well just call it off while you have the lead.
They've had 3 jams in a row. They didn't score the last 2 or 3. They didn't score in any of their last lead jams.
Dolejaleva on the line again, up against Nikki Cash. Dolejaleva trying those inside lines, outside lines, not finding much success against that strong wall of Team Japan. Meanwhile, Nikki Cash has picked up lead jammer status for Team Japan.
She breaks that lead run that Czech was having. And she's not afraid to put up points. It also helps that there are 2 Czech blockers in the penalty box, so Japan has a 4-2 pack advantage. I think she's going to run that and take advantage of that holding up.
Dolejaleva almost staying inside, just lost her footing at the last second, but unchallenged, Nikki Cash gets through, puts up another 5 points on the board.
The Czech blockers, I think, were looking at their jammers. I saw them just watching their jammer instead of the Japan jammer. Another 5 points. Japan has only put 3 blockers on the track at all, though. So I'm going to stand corrected on the pack advantage. There's only 3-2. That is tough when you have coach errors like that, when you don't put enough players on the track.
It's hard to tell sometimes. You're focusing on so many things, and then
I
all
think
of
there
a
was
sudden,
I'm sorry.
no worries.
He had an equipment problem, and it seemed that a skater had gone off the track intentionally after the jam started to deal with equipment. So, and I wonder if that was a Vajikel Jackson, actually, because we're having a team timeout getting called for Japan. Earlier, Vajikel was like dealing with her skate over here in corner 3 after the last jam she was in ended. And so I'm wondering if she's still struggling with that. There was a 16-4 jam in favor of Team Japan.
That'll bring us to a team timeout, which will allow me to mention Double Threat Skates. Expert advice from experienced staff. Head to doublethreatskates.co.uk.
Huh. All right.
We'd also like to thank Kaya Skates, quad roller skates, plates, and accessories for roller derby, lifestyle, park skating, and dance. Kaya Skates, it's time.
16:48. We have 18:54 on the clock. Even leads for the two teams, 4-4. Just two big jams for Japan, really making the difference for them, putting them so far ahead.
Dedamami on the jam line, up against Krenkova, who sneaks through. She is your lead jammer.
She looks really happy about it, too. I'd be very happy about it.
Oh, definitely.
And a big, huge apex jump right between 1 and 2. Passes a wall of 3 Japan blockers. She just has 1 to get by, and that is Slamurai, and she does it 5 points.
Dedamami passing off the star to number 1-5. Is it 1-5? Okay. Sorry, I can't tell who she passed the star to.
It's okay, we're going to get her to come by again.
75.
Some of these 7s, where's the fire? Took that star. Some of the 7s look like 1s out there. It's not the first 7 I've missed.
Where's the fire managing to pick up 2 points in that last jam? Up against Team Czech's 7-point total.
The pack's a little spread out right now. Japan on the line. Czech doing the rollback.
Czech with a slight pack disadvantage as one of their blockers awaits the remaining seconds in the penalty box.
Lattice masterpiece jamming for Team Czech.
She took a tough hit to the outside by Chris Rego of Team Japan, getting bridge back behind the jammer line.
Lead jam goes to Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake getting knocked to the outside. She is quick to re-enter, get back into action, pushing that pack to its limit.
Lattice masterpiece has her cover off as she comes up behind the pack after a big soul crush. Her pivot is on the track. It's confusing because her blocker that's in a box has stripes on her helmet that look like pivot stripes. I don't think that's a legal helmet.
Very sneaky.
It is. Another 5 points go on the board there for Team Japan. Gladys still with the cover in her hand. And there she goes, a little snatched out of her hands, basically, by Staniskova.
Nice little sneaky pass on that outside there, just as she was about to step out of bounds.
14-point jam for Japan that time. 64-23, Japan over Team Czech. 15:48 on the clock. And again, Czech's lining up near the pivot line and working on the rollback.
Nikki Cash wearing the star once again for Team Japan, up against Doris, the Explorer, for Team Czech.
Japan playing that 5th blocker with their jammer.
They just needed that 5th blocker long enough to get their actual blocker out on the track.
And lead goes to Japan's Nikki Cash. Nikki already posting points.
Doris the Explorer emerging from the pack for her initial pass. Nikki Cash at the front looking for instructions from her bench. See if we'll let this one run a little longer.
And wow, just stomping through that inside line. Doris the Explorer gets through on a scoring pass.
Cash almost got knocked to the outside. She managed to stay in. Psycho Killer, of course, going out. She puts up 4 more points for Team Japan.
Penalty box is empty now, and she calls it off right away. Gave up points to get more blockers to start the next jam. 30 now for Team Czech, 72 for Team Japan.
We've got just under 14.5 minutes left in this game, and we would like to thank Cheeseball Precision Skate Bearings, the original hand-prepared skate bearing, available in-house at Quad Skate Shop, booth, or online. You're more likely to go online today, I believe, because, let's face it, you're on the stream, you're not here.
Dolezhlava jamming for Team Czech. And Dedamame, her 5th jam for Team Japan.
Dolezhlava, much to the crowd's delight, picks up lead jam for Team Czech, but it's a jammer race as Dedamame is not far behind her. Nice little apex attempt.
Yeah, she left inbounds but did not land on her skates.
Did not land it. No points awarded to either team as she calls it off.
Still 30 to 72. I've been fascinated by the fact that up till now, Czech has been leaving the jammer line wall to Team Japan, but they're on opposite bench. Like Team Czech has the jammer line bench, and Team Japan has the pivot line bench, but Team Japan has been taking the rear in these beginning of the games. Well, we have a team timeout now, Sonia, and this is a team timeout for Japan.
This team timeout is brought to you by Strong Athletic. Strong Athletic believes that every human has the right to celebrate their strength, play sports, be active, find their power, speak their voice, and be seen. StrongAthletic.com.
So both of these teams with even leads, 6 and 6. There's been a couple of big scoring passes in the last few jams, but then we're either scoring big or we're hardly scoring. We're not scoring at all out here, so it's moving in the scoring jumps, but Team Japan just really dominating the score. Their bigger scoring passes are bigger than Czech's, and I think Czech's getting these multiple scoring passes. That last one was just because Team Japan let them run it while they got the box empty.
Team Czech probably wanting to get a few more lead jams in, help control the situation, help control those call-offs.
Shake and Bake taking the jam line against Krenkova. Krenkova with those long legs around the inside of the Japan wall picks up lead, but she's only 20 feet in front of Shake and Bake.
Yep, Shake and Bake found that outside line. The blockers didn't quite take her over the edge, so she snuck right past them. And Krenkova is going to call it off. Another scoreless jam.
You know, in part scoreless because Japan's blockers took that front and stayed up front, and they were willing to get the pack into a foot race to not be scored on.
Definitely.
It was pretty.
Those blockers need to assess the situation, the jammers need to assess the situation, be like, you know what, this is a no-win situation. Let's just call it, start over again, reset.
Lattice Masterpiece with her 4th trip to the jammer line. Nikki Cash on her 5th.
Nikki Cash trying to push out Lattice Masterpiece at the beginning, but her blockers were not having it. Nikki Cash with 1 to beat at the front. And she is your lead jammer for Team Japan.
And she's already back around to scoring while we still have Lattice Masterpiece stuck in the pack, getting a beating on by Tokyo Takeout.
Lattice Masterpiece just getting pinballed out there. She is knocked to the outside, and she is bridged back by number 300, Chris Rego. She is bridged back to the jammer line.
She's on a power jam, though, with Nikki Cash in the penalty box.
I believe she is yet to make her initial pass in this round. Team Czech jostling for position to give her some offense.
Nikki Cash is standing, and looks like Team Japan, with this next drawback, is going to manage to burn that entire 30-second penalty, Sonia.
Good work on their part.
Cost them a blocker out of play, but I think it was worth it 4 points go on the board for Team Japan for Nikki Cash.
And Lattice Masterpiece finally emerges from the pack with her initial pass. Team Japan had, of course, kept her to turns 1 and 2, bridging her back for about a minute and a half.
That was a really pretty duck around that block.
Lattice Masterpiece got through the pack, knocked down at the last second. Team Japan quick to reform in front of her.
Both jammers out. Both jammers scored 4 in the last pass.
Nikki Cash looking for instructions from her bench to call it.
And she does.
4 points being awarded to Team Japan, 0 for Czech Republic.
With that last pass, so it's 12-4 of that jam, leads the score 84-34. Team Japan over Team Czech. 9 minutes left in this game. We do not stop for timeouts or official reviews. So we're going to tell you more about our sponsors now.
Our sponsors, like S1 Helmets, the official helmet of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
And we have Doris the Explorer jamming against Denamame. Both of them stuck in the scrums around the pivot line.
Team Japan with almost a revolving door in the penalty box with their blockers. One gets back on the track and one goes to sit for her penalty.
Well, now we have 2 as the pivot for Team Japan heads to the penalty box. But we have a cut track being called on Doris the Explorer, leaving Team Japan with a power jam.
It's always discouraging. You fight so hard to get through the pack and you get through and then, oh, you got a penalty. Sorry.
Nikki Cash finally completes her initial pass, and she's going to come around again. There are no Japan blockers on the pack at the moment. Number 950 Thunderbell was off the track. She has returned to the track to form a pack, and she's now being joined with 2 out of the penalty box.
Denamame managed to deke out Vile Shadow on turn number 4, and she got through on the inside line, puts up 4 more points for Team Japan.
Yeah, Japan's just keeps putting their blockers in the box. Again, they have 2 blockers in the penalty box.
And a low block being assessed to Team Japan's pivot. She will return to the penalty box as quickly as she left.
I mean, some of them must be approaching for penalties here pretty soon. It's a little hard to track the blockers themselves. Finally completing her initial pass, Doris the Explorer is coming up to a pack with only 1 Japan blocker in it, and she jumps up to get around her and finds herself on the ground, drawn back by 1 blocker. I'm sorry, sent to the penalty box for that.
Could be leaping contact, but we don't have confirmation on that.
Yeah, I didn't see the hand signal from this end either. 2 points put on the board for Team Japan before she got the penalty. So a 7-0 jam as the clock ran out.
Team Czech's jammer still in the box for the start of this jam. That will give a power start to Team Japan. They are sending out number 140, Shake and Bake.
Bad jammer.
Team Japan lining up, giving her that inside line. Shake and Bake through for lead jammer. Team Japan setting up around that apex, hoping to give some offense if needed.
So this is the second time Doris the Explorer has been in the penalty box as a jammer for Team Czech.
Shake and Bake with 1 left to beat. She gets around. She puts up 5 points for Team Japan.
Staniskova did everything she could.
Doris the Explorer, fresh off her penalty, tries to find that outside line, gets knocked out. She's going to recycle herself back and play it safe so she doesn't go to that penalty box again.
Toe stops around Vile Shadow. 4 more points for Team Japan.
Doris the Explorer knocked up by Slamurai, who managed to stay in bounds just by the edge of her toe stops.
Nice bridging and pulling Doris the Explorer back into the backside straightaway. She has 2 Japan blockers to deal with.
Shake and bake, putting up another 5 points for Team Japan. Dorsey Explorer removing her helmet cover. Oh, she'll decide to put that back on.
Yes. She was feeling the floor a lot, it seemed like.
That looked like a bit of a painful jam. I think she's happy for the break in between. Krenkova wearing the star once again for Team Czech. Up against 127, Nikki Cash.
You got it. It's kind of light out there as we have only 2 blockers from each team out on the track and 2 from each team in the penalty box.
Krenkova pushing her blockers into Nikki Cash. Seems to work for a moment. Oh, she is called off for a forearm penalty. That'll leave Krenkova on a power jam as she picks up that lead status.
The Team Czech fans here in corner 3, we're very happy about a lead jam for the Czechs. It's been a while. It's been 4 jams since they've picked up lead.
Team Czech going in to do some offense. Krenkova sneaking past number 7 Slamurai. She gets through, puts up 5 points for Team Czech, chipping away at that Team Japan lead.
Well, and it is about the point spread when they're placing teams tomorrow too. So both of these teams need as many points as they can, no matter if they're just happy winning or losing, and they don't get to choose that right now.
Krenkova putting up another 5 points. Nikki Cash, fresh off her penalty, is out of the box, but spins out of bounds on that inside and bridges herself back behind the jammer line.
Well, we're at 15 points so far now for Team Czech. This is the highest scoring jam they've had this game. In fact, the first one in double digits.
Krenkova decides to call off that jam to hold Team Japan scoreless.
That was a good jam for Team Czech. Kind of brings that score a little closer, 48 to 105, less than 3 minutes left to play in the game.
We'd like to thank Rollline for sponsoring this track that you're watching right now. Rollline is the tailored gear fit on your needs.
Team Japan puts Where's the Fire on the jam line for the first time. She jammed earlier when she got a pass, start pass, and
we've got Delejoleva for Team Czech Republic going against that solid wall of Team Japan blockers.
Team Japan at the front wall, and finally now getting through Delejoleva.
Both jammers getting out of that pack almost simultaneously, but that lead will go to Delejoleva, who calls it off before Team Japan can strike again.
Team Japan actually had a little more speed coming out of the pack and ended up being in front, even though they weren't the first out of the pack.
Team Japan sending out number 140, Shake and Bake, up against Krenkova in what might be the last jam of this game with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go.
It could be. They've been going pretty fast. This is our 19th jam already.
Krenkova with 1 to beat as she rounds the apex. And she picks up lead jammer for Team Czech.
Oh, and a big track cut. Shake and Bake looked back to assess that, and just somehow she decided that passing half the pack wasn't a cut. And that's that leaping hit. Didn't really have any effect there for Krenkova.
Krenkova gets knocked to the outside, but Slamurai fell down, but Krenkova's going to play it safe and bridge herself back, hoping to avoid a detrimental jammer penalty.
Passive offense being played by the Czech blockers, and she calls it off. Freezing Shake and Bakes in the penalty box.
And that'll give us time for one more jam in this game.
So pretty even on the leads. 10 lead jams for Czech, 9 for Japan, 3 jammer penalties for each team, but Team Japan, when they're out there, they're willing to stay in the game and put points on the board and score. And when you said this might be the last jam, I was thinking, well, if Team Czech gets lead, it might not be, but if Team Japan does, we will, and that's what we've had happen here, and right out of the penalty box. comes Shake and Bake, and she picks up lead. Now she can call it one that hits 0 and they still win, but Japan is hungry for points in this game, and it looks like she's getting the signal to go for it. Czech at the back of the pack, Japan staying up front and out of scoring range at the moment.
Shake and Bake getting knocked to the inside, and she's going to call it off 1 point apiece in that jam.
That was a lot of work for 1 point for each of them, don't you think, Sonia?
That was great.
That was a fun game to watch. Fun teams. Team Czech is getting a good group hug. Actually, both teams are putting together group hugs there. Japan goes home with a 1-0 record. Team Czech has nothing, but they have a lot of respectful points on that board.
Absolutely, and both teams did it with a smile on their face.
Yeah, and it was really just the fact that Japan was able to put more points up in their strong jams, where the Czechs were playing it safer and just hitting and quitting most of the time.
It seemed Team Japan was quicker to get around and get multiple scoring passes, whereas Czech struggled a bit with that.
Exactly. Well, I think that is all for us here.
Our final score will be 106 points for Team Japan. Team Czech sitting at 53 points.